Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm really excited about today's video because I'm going to be sharing with you my top 10 book recommendations to get you into reading in 2023. January is always the month of New Year's resolutions, new goals, new challenges, new opportunities. So in case anyone watching is thinking to themselves, I want to get back into reading, I want to read more, I don't know where to start, I'm intimidated about books, I just want something that I can dive right into. So that's what this video is going to be about. We're going to be diving into 10 books, all different genres, that I think are going to be great for beginners or people that are really trying to just get into reading in the new year. But before we get into today's video, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe down below. And now I'm just going to grab my laptop because I got all my notes on here. So we got a lot to talk about. So these books I'm going to be talking about are going to be in no particular order. So yeah, let's get started. First book I want to talk about is my favorite series currently ever, and that is Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. This book has my heart, has my soul, has my mind, has my everything. I would recommend it to beginners. I would recommend it to anyone looking to start reading more. And here's why. This young adult book is a magical story involving heartbreak, curses, true love, and a villain that you will come to love. And I think it will just really remind you of your favorite fairy tale story growing up. It's super easy to read. It will hook you from the first line. And this is one in a series, so book 3 will be coming out later this year. And I think if you are interested in getting into young adult books or fantasy, this is a great one to start with because it's just very easy to read. It's clean. The world building is easy to get through. It's very simple, but very palpable. You can see everything going on in your head with ease. It's not like, I don't know, Lord of the Rings that is really intense. It's a lot, but even though it's still such a good book, this one I think is a little more straightforward, to the point, simplistic. Not to say that it is like dumbed down at all, because this is great writing. And yeah, I would recommend this as my first book. Next, we have another type of fantasy. It's way darker, but I still love it, and that is going to be A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett St. Clair. If you loved Hercules, and if you love morally great characters, you're gonna mash them together and you're gonna get this book. This is a great book to start with if you are into romance, if you want something a little darker, if you love fantasy elements. This is a Hades and Persephone retelling set in kind of a modern day, but we still have all of those Greek gods kind of living amongst the people in Greece, and Persephone is our main character. We get her point of view in this book. It just has a really good plot line as far as like a dark fantasy romance could go. It's also very easy to read, very fast paced. Like I said, we have a villain in here, Hades, who is misunderstood. We learn a lot about him. The relationship he has with Persephone is very fun, very angsty. You get a lot of banter. You get like that enemies to lovers in this book as well. And this is another book that is part of 3 books. So if you are interested in a series, this is another one to get into. Again, it is gonna be darker. Check the trigger warnings before you read this book. But I would recommend it to people that are interested in something like this to start the new year with, because it is fun, it's a good time, and yeah, it kind of makes me want to reread it actually. Next, we have The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is easily the easiest book to read on my list because it is YA and it is a young adult mystery centered around a girl who inherits like a billionaire's fortune, and we kind of unravel a lot of mysteries and puzzles around this very wealthy family that she is now thrust into the world of. She has to stay in this family's estate for a year in order to claim this inheritance, which, by the way, she's not related to these people at all, and they receive 0 of this guy's inheritance, and they're all like relatives of this gentleman that passes away. So we got a lot of jealousy, we have greed, we have, like I said, mystery, riddles. This is a very fun book to read, very fast paced, very short chapters, so it's very speedy. You can get through this in a few hours, I would say. And this is another book in a trilogy. If you're into Clue, if you're into riddles, mind games, definitely pick this up. I would recommend this to any age group. This is a very fun read, and I had to have it on this list. Another one of my favorite books is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. This is a very romantic and adventurous Beauty and the Beast retelling, and I think this is the best book in this list to get you into fantasy romance if you have not tried the genre yet. It's also a great book to get into if you're interested in the whole Fae universe. This is probably the book that started it all, to be honest. We have a main character you will love right from the start. You'll definitely be hooked after you read this book. There are like 4 or 5 books in the series the author is still writing, so we'll see, but definitely start with this book if you are interested in fantasy romance. It is somewhat spicy. I would say it's more new adult instead of young adult, but I still recommend this. It is so good. Oh, I love this. I just reread it on Audible not too long ago, so you can also listen to it, but I always prefer reading it personally. But yeah, you're welcome for this recommendation because it's amazing. If you are a fan of Bridgerton and you don't want like a slow-paced, difficult to read book like Pride and Prejudice or a Jane Austen novel, then I'm going to recommend to you A Lady's Guide to Fortune Hunting by Sophie Irwin. This is her debut novel, so it's the first book she's written so far, and you can see it is tabbed because I love this. I have a full book review on this. I will link it above in case you're interested. And this is a funny romantic comedy about a girl trying to marry rich to save her family in London society. It's a great way to segue into more historical romances. Like I said, this is a clean novel, so we're not gonna get spice. We're gonna get more fade to black. We're gonna get like the, you know, the side glances from across the room and like tiny little touches of your finger. Super cute, super romantic in my opinion. And I love this book. I cherish it. The color, the title, ever. It's just so beautiful. I love this. And like I said, it's easy to read, it's easy to get through, not very large, but I think it will be a great start to anyone looking to get into that genre. Next on my list, we have Fable by Adrienne Young. This is a very fast-paced book with a lot of aha moments, and I think it's a great book to read now that it's starting to warm up again, because this takes place in like this kingdom that's around islands and a lot of water. It's gonna give you like pirate vibes, so I personally really love it. This is part of a duology, so there's only one book after this, and like I said, it's quick, it's very easy to read, it's fast-paced, it's adventurous, we have mystery, we have a little romance in there, but still very clean, no real spice happening in this book, so I think it's great for all ages. And yeah, definitely recommend if you're into pirates, check this out. Getting into some Kindle books, so if you guys have a Kindle, you just got one for Christmas, or you're really interested in Kindle and you want some good book recommendations that, like I said, are easy to read and not too crazy, I have a few recommendations for you. Number one being Irresistible by Melanie Harlow. We have a small town romance with a single dad and a nanny, so that's a super fun trope. It's cute, it's steamy, and I think this is a great book to read on road trips, on the plane, on the beach, curled up on the couch, in the bathtub. Like literally, you can read this anywhere. It's so cute, very cozy. It's very short, so you can get through it fairly quickly. And yeah, it is available on Kindle Unlimited, so go ahead and check it out. I haven't read more from her, but the writing style is pretty good. So yeah, definitely wanted to have this on the list here. Next up, we have From Lukov with Love by Mariana Zapata. That is going to be an enemies to lovers / force proximity type of book. It is a very large book, but I put it on this list because it is pretty easy to read. The storyline is really fun, and from the beginning, you're going to really love our main character. She's very like focused, driven, kind of grumpy. She's an ice skater, and she has to pair with like her arch nemesis in order to qualify for like this competition thing for like USA Nationals or something. I would say because of the writing of Mariana Zapata, this book is very immersive, and you'll read through it quicker than you think, even though it's such a large book. And the characters are just very lovable, and their angst and how they talk to each other is very fun. And of course, we're gonna have happy ever after here, so definitely recommend this book if you're interested in contemporary romance. Check this one out. Number 9 on this list, we have The Bridge Kingdom, and that is going to be a more adult fantasy romance book on this list. But I do think it's great for beginners because just like the others, we don't have too much explanatory world building. The world that we get in this story is very easy to understand, very simplistic, straight to the point. It focuses around a girl, a very strong female main character who literally will do anything she can to survive. And we do have something very intense happen in like the first couple of chapters. So just like a little trigger warning there, but it's very intense, very action-packed. And then it segues into book 2. So I definitely recommend this book if you're interested in a fantasy world with tropes of marriage of convenience, revenge, assassins, and just easy to follow world building. And number 10 on this list, I didn't want to not include a classic book on here, but I know those can be very intimidating. So I did some research and tried thinking, what is the most like straightforward classic we could get into? I did not want to recommend books like Jane Austen or something very large like The Count of Monte Cristo. I wanted something short, sweet, to the point, and I came up with Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. If you have never read a classic novel but you're really interested in getting into it, you want to try for the new year, that's a goal of yours, and you just don't know where to start, I would recommend this one because the writing style is a little more easier to get through than other classics that I've read in the past. And it's a very short but really good story that you're probably familiar with. You have heard of the monster Frankenstein, but it's not really what you think. We have a story about the consequences of messing with nature, having like a godlike complex, and pretty much the pursuit of knowledge comes at a price. So really cool book, very cool story. Not what you think it's gonna be when you think of Frankenstein, but definitely check this book out. It's very easy to get through, and I also think it's free on Audible, so check that out. But yeah, that's gonna be it. Those are the 10 books that I would recommend anyone to read to get if you're interested in getting into reading more in 2023. I hope you found this list helpful. If you have read any of these books, do you agree that these are great books to start with to get into reading? Let me know in the comments. And if you have any other book recommendations for people, please let me know. Put them in the comment section so we can, share with each other. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, I will see you in my next video. Bye!